Recently, I played through Destiny 2 Witch Queen with the help of some friends to fill me in on what's going on, because I haven't played Destiny in about 2 years. The following is a completely accurate summary of the campaign. Trust me. The game begins with some narration about Mars being back, which I'm told is a big deal because it was on vacation for a little while, and then everything escalates immediately as sweet potatoes show up with a big-ass gun and 3/4 of a blender donut appears out of thin air and the game fades to black. We're given the option to play the game normally or on Legendary, so of course I pick Legendary because I ain't no bitch, just don't watch my playthrough of Call of Duty Black Ops. We drop into Mars and I immediately discover Night's Chill, which everyone is probably familiar with at this point, but it was like day 3 of the DLC and I stumbled across it accidentally. After dicking around for a few minutes, we get on with it, and Mozambique Face lets us know that we're looking at time bubbles because Mars brought back an STD from their vacation, and that Big Titty Moth GF has finally come out of hiding, which they'd been teasing for at least 5 years. It's about fucking time they got around to it. We waste ammo through waves of bullet sponges and hatch a plan to Doom Eternal ourselves to Big Titty Moth GF Splendor Donut. We fight an arbitrary amount of waves of enemies and activate the cannon batteries before Skye and Quinn commit suicide by jumping down a hole.
Guardian down.
I forgot fall damage exists in this stupid game.
After clearing out more bullet sponges, we adjust the cannon and our ghost lets us know that we'll be fine, but also that he might have to scrape our entrails off the side of the ship. But that's okay, we can recover. We launch towards the Ark and BT throws us to keep us alive and no, wait, wrong script. Isn't this like the 3rd time now that I've used this joke? Who knew getting shot out of a cannon in a first-person shooter was a recurring trope? As we enter Big Titty Moth GF's donut, don't take that out of context. Our ghost reveals that there are traces of light, which is supposed to come as a little surprise later, except they already spoiled this as part of the marketing. The Hive have the power of the light. That was one of the main selling points. We kill an arbitrary amount of enemies to count to 5 to open a door and get suicide bombed by the aliens from Peacemaker while we parkour across some light fixtures. Just in case the campaign wasn't linear enough for you, we fight our way through a singular lane of enemies and jump down a floor butthole to Big Titty Moth GF, who escapes and sends an albino zombie after us, and don't tell me the Hive aren't zombies. Light Hive are literally undead now. Wait, does that make Guardians zombies too? Wait, does that make Guardians liches? Hang on, I gotta check this. Liches are spellcasters who seek to defy death through magical means, stores a soul in a phylactery, and you have to destroy it to get rid of the forever. Yep, we're a lich. Where was I? We fight an arbitrary amount of enemies to count to 3 and jump through a portal to Big Titty Moth GF's spank room, and we catch up to her briefly before she fucks off and forces us to fight our way through an arbitrary amount of waves of enemies before she comes back and we absolutely wreck her ass. Again, don't take this out of context. Surprise, Big Titty Moth GF didn't die, which isn't a surprise because, again, Bungie already spoiled this as part of the marketing. We're forcibly ejected from a blender donut and we wake up face down in the sand, where IKEA gives us a call and we let her know that we suck ass at playing Destiny because we've canonically killed many gods, but some undead lady with moth wings, that's out of our wheelhouse. And then the camera pans away to our shadow just straight up disappearing? That's weird. Now we have to watch IKEA's animated slideshow that she spent all afternoon on trying to impress us, which details Big Titty Moth GF's backstory, just in case you didn't watch My Name is Bife, who covered this information like 2 years ago because it's always been available, but not in any easily consumable form. It also covers the events of the previous season for people like me, who haven't touched the game in a long time. Big Titty Moth GF possessed Osiris, that old guy from the worst Destiny 2 DLC of all time, and used it to steal the light from us. Or did she? Bum, bum, We talked to IKEA and she says that she should have seen the Light Hive coming, and yeah, she would have if she'd paid attention to the advertising. She lets us know that we've got to learn crafting. Yay, everyone loves crafting. We craft a glaive, which is also a gun, somehow, and have to go right back to IKEA to speak to her again because everyone knows that watching an NPC talk at you is incredibly engaging and totally not boring. Basically, the conversation boils down to, hey, go back to Big Titty Moth GF's Blender Donut. Thanks. We invade the donut and fight through an arbitrary amount of bullet sponges before being contacted by a mysterious voice that tells us that we shouldn't be here and that we should go away. So hey, wait a second, his name is right up there in the top right. Isn't that a spoiler? We Bioshock Infinite some platforms into existence and all jump to our deaths because we're really good at this game. After strolling through the park and saying hi to our neighbors, we work our way out of the fortress by asking some barrier guards nicely to let us through, and then when they refuse, we murder them and speak to their boss, whom we also murder with absolutely no problems whatsoever. And then we meet the best character since Cade, Finch. He's even got a Y in a weird place in his name. Turns out the ghosts working for the Hive were radicalized incels who were indoctrinated into the cause by believing that the Hive was their only option so they wouldn't be guardianless forever. No, I'm not gonna put a Destiny version of no bitches here. Fuck you. Finch points us in the direction of Big Titty Moth GF's private area. God damn it, how does this keep happening? Who wrote this? What do you mean I wrote this? Who am I even talking to right now? We spelunk our way into a cave and Finch lets us know that the worst character from the worst DLC in Destiny 2 can be found deeper within, so for some reason we're gonna head in and find her. Tali's Titan cheats on my Titan with my Warlock, and we fight some Scorn cells because the Scorn are part of this DLC for some reason, and Finch fangirls about IKEA while we do some parkour. We break the Scorn Cell's healing crystals because those crystals do not improve your health, and then jump down a well to look for little Timmy, but we only find more Scorn Cells because of course we did. A dank dark basement is an incel's natural habitat. After evicting the Scorn Cells so we can rent the place out at a marked up price, we pick up the worst character and head back to Mars to get talked at by IKEA some more, who tells us that she thinks that the one Harrison Ford movie is the reason that Big Titty Moth GF was able to steal the light for herself, and the only way to figure out for sure is to head into a space Dorito and ask it nicely to tell us what the fuck is going on. Mozambique Face and our ghost fills us in on the events of Beyond Light, which I skipped because I heard it was kind of bad, but also I'll have to suffer through it anyways if I want stasis, which I also heard was kind of bad now too. Great value for a DLC. We remove some sweet potatoes from the underside of the Dorito and interact with the Atlas from No Man's Sky that raptures us into the ceiling, where we do some parkour that reminds me of the Whisper quest. We hack a solar panel that the sweet potatoes install on the inside of the Dorito for some reason, and murder our way through legions of Red Legion because we are Legion, and no wait, that doesn't make any sense. We murder a deserter because he didn't offer us any dessert, then spend 45 minutes on a boss fight against Avalis because whether we wanted it or not, we stepped into a war with the Cabal on the Pyramid. Yeah, I'm disappointed too. We ask the Pyramid if Zavala's a bitch, but it doesn't respond, but our ghost lets us know that that doesn't necessarily mean that the Pyramid doesn't think Zavala's a bitch, so we head back to Mars to get talked at again. IKEA lets us know that we've got to take the worst character back to Big Titty Moth GF's Blender Donut to unlock its secrets within, which I really hope doesn't involve having to talk to Sagira because I hate her more than Zavala. Spoilers, it doesn't. Thank God. We do some more spelunking and evict some more Scorn Cells before getting absolutely eviscerated by sniper jackals. I mean raiders. These guys are fucking ridiculous. We blast some more healing crystals and fail our way through a boss fight because we're supposed to survive long enough to get beams of light to spam supers like we're any of the NPCs in this game, but we keep getting murdered because we're still playing on Legendary. After beating the boss, we take a Halo CE teleporter to Elsa's castle, where we listen to some memory monologue about that Harrison Ford movie, but we're not exactly sure what it was about. Finch lets us know that we've got to go raid another tomb based around that rock Pokemon, which is actually a strike and not a story mission, which means that we get a brief reprieve from Legendary difficulty and just blast past everything with reckless abandon. There's some really chaotic energy during this strike, but I'm going to save the highlights for another video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Or don't, I'm not the boss of you. It would make me sad though. Though I guess if you're a fan of Dying Light, or Halo Reach, or ODST, or probably think I deserve it. After defeating Gandalf the White, we find a tablet that talks about how Onyx ordered takeout, and head back to the Blender Donut where we take some space buttholes to the Halo CE teleporter again and play Spot the Difference in Elsa's castle. And I got it right on the first try. I know, right? I actually did something correctly the first time? Who am I and what have I done with the real Ilyaso? No, wait, don't say it. Don't say imposter. Don't do it. We watch a static image monologue at us about Big Titty Moth GF's plan to have an abusive relationship with the Traveler, which is like par for the course for any of the big bads in Destiny that want to do something with the Traveler. We head back to IKEA again because the best part about playing a shooter game is talking to NPCs, and Quinn knocks me out of the conversation so I have to listen to it again. Thanks, Quinn, you dickhead. The stupidest part about talking to NPCs is that there's always a summary of exactly what they said to you displayed after they finish talking because Bungie knows for a fact no one is paying attention. We head back to the Blender Donut and enter a secret cave dedicated to Big Titty Moth GF's Blunder Years, but it's protected by some Scorn Cells, so we have to murder them out of the way first. We steal a worm from statue and fight a dragon that randomly shows up because that's a natural progression for what's going on. But the world starts to collapse, so we do a Warthog run away with absolutely no problems whatsoever. After escaping the castle from Sonic Heroes, we head back to the Halo CE teleporter wall and I get bumped off the map and die. Okay then. And now I have to go back to IKEA again. Yay. Zavala shows up and has a dissenting opinion because of fucking course he does. Literally the only thing he ever does is be a contrarian when the plot wants him to show up. Mozambique Face lets us know that we've got to go even further beyond by going deeper than ever before into Big Titty Moth GF's donut. And then I did the same shit I did on Forsaken and forgot to record the next mission, which I thought would have been a big problem because Destiny doesn't let you replay missions after you completed them, except now it does. Which Qreen? Fuck? Which Qreen? Fuck! Which Queen really is the best Destiny expansion? We're headed deep into Big Titty Moth GF's medicine cabinet to steal a piece of her prison cell, which makes a little more sense in actual context, but this is some sci-fi gobbledygook for sure. Zavala checks in to make sure we're not wasting our time and finds out that Mommy Sov was the one who gave us the information for the mission. So of course he's not happy about that, because literally any time Zavala shows up, he's required to have a dissenting opinion. When can we get a DLC where Zavala just becomes unhinged and lets us go on a rampage because he wants to? Lance Reddick doesn't deserve this. We do some parkour and have lunch with some locals before getting stonewalled at the worst part of this campaign. So Matt rage quits and we restart the level on normal difficulty because, I mean, we did beat the campaign on Legendary once, I just don't have video proof. I promise it happened. They really should have like an intermediate difficulty. The difference between normal and Legendary is like the difference between normal and Legendary and Halo. It is a lot more enjoyable not getting murdered by bullet sponges, though. We open the medicine cabinet and Tali's computer blue screens, because my ability to break things is so powerful that I can break someone else's computer. After Tali returns, we find Luke from Rocket Sloth hiding in the cabinet, so he comes out of the cabinet and our ghost lets us know that we find a room full of jars full of mysterious tainted liquid, and I'm not really sure I want to know what's in them. We defeat Big Titty Moth GF's right hand, because we're strictly anti-masturbation, and then I realize that if you don't record the end of this mission, when you replay it, you don't get to see literally the most important part of the entire campaign. So I borrowed some footage from Cheedar, who's smarter than me. After entering the Halo CE teleporter, Cheedar figures out a puzzle on the first try, it's first try, and then does the second part on the first try. First try. Come on, Cheedar, if you're smarter than me, what does this mean for me? After completing the puzzle on the first try, he defeats Xerox, printer of papers, and sticks a rock into a table, which unlocks a core memory about the fact that Big Titty Moth GF actually did die when we beat her in the previous season, and she didn't steal the light. It was given to her by the Traveler, and hey, wait a second, this ghost already looked like a hive ghost? Wouldn't that have been like a big red flag to the other ghosts? Like, oh yeah, that's Dave, he likes to dress up as a terrorist. But I guess Guardians have had enemy-themed armor in the past. Maybe it's not so out of the ordinary. Also, surprise, Big Titty Moth GF was totally just winging it, no pun intended, and she forgot all about her former life just like all Guardians do, and we've been helping her regain her memory this whole time. Big Titty Moth GF quotes Fallout Boy at us, which is a joke I'm sure literally everyone made at this part, and Cheedar jumps away into a Halo C teleporter wall. Ghost tells him that he should speak to Zavala, which is the worst suggestion I've ever heard. He meets up with Zavala and lets everyone know what's up, and everyone bitches and whines that it's completely unfair that the Traveler would give the light to their enemy, even though we've known literally since the beginning that this is entirely in character for the Traveler to do. IKEA comes up with a plan, and Zavala actually agrees to something for once in his goddamn life, and IKEA just picks up the cyborg worm and walks off with it, and no one asks her why. Okay. IKEA lets us know that the worm might not be a statue, but an actual fossil, so she tells us to meet her on Mars because, really? We have to talk to her here, and then talk to her again on Mars? Why don't you just tell us what's up right here? Cut to the crafting table on Mars, where the hive worm does some goofy shit, and honestly this entire scene is just goofy shit. But then the room turns into a flashback where it's revealed that the hive worms actually tricked Big Titty Moth GF and her siblings, and the entire existence of the hive as they currently are is all a big lie. Which is probably a super cool reveal for Destiny fans who are really into the lore, but it ultimately makes no difference to the outcome of this campaign because Savathun just doubles down on it later on. We'll get to that. And now we're off to murder Big Titty Moth GF for realsies this time, no takebacks. The Traveler has already moved in with Big Titty Moth GF because unlike Gaul, she's actually simp-worthy. What the fuck am I talking about? No, she's not. She's a giant skeleton. The Scorn cells are trying to break in, so we murder them and everyone defending the area before IKEA shows up to kill an ogre with a super. And then she uses a second super, which isn't even the same subclass. What? That's bullshit. She's cheating. That's literally cheating. Disqualify her win record in the Crucible. That's all bullshit. IKEA reminds us that we've got to stop the ritual, which is a good thing too, because I totally would have forgotten about the exact reason we were here as we're storming the castle. We blow through a mini-boss by literally dunking on it. And you gotta say from downtown when you dunk it.
From downtown.
That was more exciting than when Elijah did it. And take an elevator up to Big Titty Moth GF so we can ask her politely to stop. Just kidding, we start murdering her as fast as possible without even trying to reason with her. Big Titty Moth GF's ghost gets away, and Luke and I do something stupid.
Fight. Fight. Pattern is always the same.
Me and Luke share one brain cell. Big Titty Moth GF teases our ghost, and he absolutely goes off on her. Hell yeah, you tell him, Nolan. Back to the murdering. Hang on, Savathun gets to spam different subclass supers at us this whole boss fight? Does that mean regular Guardians can just use supers as they please and we're limited to how quickly we can fill up our super bar? Are we like weak-ass bitches in canon? I feel cheated. This time we take intermittent breaks to try and force the memory onto her, but it literally doesn't change her mind at all. We finish off Big Titty Moth GF and she glitches out because I'm still the one playing. Big Titty Moth GF warns us that Harrison Ford is coming and that the game is now ours to win or lose, but joke's on her, I never lose. I just die a hell of a lot. Then her ghost just fucks off without her. What a dick. Cut to Harrison Ford, who spouts some exposition and reveals their Space Dorito army, and that's it. Have fun waiting 5 more years till they get to that. Game over. Special thanks to my patrons for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel as well, you'll get your own custom avatar that'll go at the end of the videos that you help support that month.